Welcome back to Pink Turtle Soaps. This is your first time joining us. Thank you so much for stopping by. For today, I'm making a chocolate covered strawberry soap, and you may notice that I have about half the amount I normally do in my bucket here, and that's because I have about 4 videos that I have to get out in the next 24 hours. So to cut back on time, I'm only making 1 loaf of soap today. In this bucket here, I have all my oils melted down, and in this container here, I have my lye mixed with distilled water. I pour my lye water into my oils. I use my stick blender to blend them, and that makes soap. Alright, so everything is nice and blended. So my next step is to split off my batch. So I'm going to pour off just a small amount into this smaller container here, and that's going to be colored red. And then the remaining soap in this bucket I will color brown. And I'm only adding fragrance oil to this bucket because it does discolor. So if I add it to the red, it's going to change the color, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to leave the red unscented. So for the red, I'm using Really Red, and that comes from Nurture Soap. I'm just going to add a little bit to this. And to the larger container, I'm adding Mocha Brown, which is my favorite brown mica. I'm actually almost out of it. Then I'm going to grab my stick blender and blend those in really quick. Alright, so my next step is to add the fragrance, again, to only this container here, and I'm going to blend that in by hand. Well, I take that back. You know how it's been for me lately. These fragrances are rising for some reason. So I am going to have to use the stick blender really quick to work all that out. Alright, so that seemed to do the trick. It's nice and smooth. So I'm going to go grab our mold and we'll start pouring in the soap. Alright, so I'm going to start with the brown. I want the majority of this loaf to be brown with just a little bit of red inside. Stick blending that fragrance oil has definitely made it thicken up, but that's going to be okay. I think that'll actually turn out better. It'll keep the red from mixing up too much. It'll keep the colors really separate. So I'm pouring up from up high to basically make sure that it pierces all the way through, especially since that brown soap has thickened up quite a bit. It feels so weird just doing 1 loaf. I feel like we've just ran right through this. And because this has thickened up quite a bit, I'm going to have to scoop it out. I can't pour it. That's okay. Alright, so I'm going to move this off to the side, and whenever my piping is ready to go, we'll come back and start piping the soaps. I wanted to take a quick second to show you what the piping is going to look like. So I mixed a little bit of Really Red mica with some titanium dioxide, and that's what gave us this really pretty light pink color. I also added some red jojoba beads in there, and the more I look at it, the more it reminds me of those red sugar crystals that you like sprinkle on top of sugar cookies or on top of chocolate covered strawberries. I think it was a good touch to add that in there, especially since I'm not adding any glitter on top of this soap. So I'm letting that sit off to the side to thicken up so that I can pipe the soaps. And then each bar is going to get a little chocolate dipped strawberry. I made these using a strawberry mold from Amazon, and then I dipped them in just some brown soap, and then I painted the top of the leaves in green mica. I know they don't look very realistic, but I did want to put some type of interpretation of chocolate covered strawberry on top of the soaps. So we'll see how that looks in the final product, but each soap will get 1 on this side. So I'm going to sit here for just a few more minutes stirring this soap here, and when it's thick enough to pipe, we'll go ahead and get started. Alright, all the strawberries are on there, and as you can see, a couple bars have an extra strawberry. But as you can see, every bar got at least one strawberry. Then I made a last second decision to sprinkle more of the red jojoba beads on top, just to give it a little more pop on top to tie in that red of the strawberry. And I think that it'll look good overall once you cut the bar up. I didn't want to put glitter on this, but it's still, I felt like it needed just a little something else. And I think those strawberries look so cute, just lined up there. I'm going to spray it down one last time with rubbing alcohol in probably about an hour. And then we'll come back about 24 hours. This should be ready. I've never used this fragrance oil before, so you always have to kind of plan on maybe a soap taking a little bit longer to harden up. But general rule of thumb is about 24 hours. So at that point, I'll come back and check it. And if it's ready, we'll cut it up. So we're back the next day to cut up the chocolate covered strawberry soap. And I've noticed that the fragrance did discolor the brown a little bit. It went a little yellow, but after the cure time, it's going to be very, very dark brown. It'll definitely look more like a chocolate soap after the cure time is over. And I've noticed over the last few hours that the strawberry note has come out quite a bit. So it's really, really sweet, but it does have that sort of bitter chocolate undertone, and it's really decadent, really very reminiscent of Valentine's Day. And there's the first little bar, the little end bar. Oh, it smells so chocolatey. Definitely the perfect fragrance for Valentine's Day. Let's cut off another one. Line it up here between the strawberries there. And there's that one. Here's an up close look at the piping. You can see those red jojoba beads in there. And then sprinkled on top, I added just a few. And then there's the little strawberry. I'm really loving the detail in that. And then just a little bit of red. This almost looks like something that you could eat. Definitely looks edible. I think that one little single strawberry is just a cute little detail on top, but the piping really does speak for itself, especially with all the jojoba beads on top and inside. Let's go ahead and cut the rest of this loaf and see what we've got. If you'd like to grab a bar for yourself or for a loved one before Valentine's Day, these will be available at pinkturtlesoaps.com February 1st at 8 a.m. Be sure to subscribe to the channel because I upload new soap making videos every single Wednesday. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.